While the world's automotive companies were competing to build massive pickup trucks, India's own Tata Motors was quietly thinking differently. While others were focused on size, power, and road presence, Tata asked a question that other companies had overlooked. If the real need is for small business owners, delivery drivers, and hard-working individuals, why not design a vehicle specifically for them? This thinking gave birth to the Tata Ace Pro. At first glance, it looks like a small mini-truck, but that's where the biggest mistake lies, because the capabilities of this little truck have forced even giants like Toyota and BYD to take notice. Notably, its starting ex-showroom price is around $499, which in itself is a significant statement. At this price, it offers both petrol and CNG engine options, and Tata has also launched an EV variant, clearly indicating that this truck is built not just for today, but for the future. The question isn't whether the Tata Ace Pro is cheap or expensive. The real question is whether it can change the entire mindset on which the mini-truck industry has operated for years. Can a small, simple-looking truck disrupt the dominance of big brands? And will this Indian-made vehicle make waves in the global market? As we proceed in this video, you'll understand the engine technology Tata has used and why this mini-truck could shake up the entire truck industry. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel so you can be among the first to see such videos. To be honest, the reality of the mini-truck industry has never been openly discussed on a large platform. Advertisements often feature words like power, load capacity, and heavy duty. But the lives of the people who actually drive these trucks are quite different. In India and other emerging countries, mini-trucks are not showroom showpieces. They are a means of livelihood. These trucks are for farmers who arrive at the vegetable market at 3 in the morning for milk, suppliers making early morning deliveries, for delivery drivers who haul e-commerce packages all day, and for small contractors whose entire business depends on their vehicle running reliably every day. But for years, companies continued along the same path instead of understanding this reality. The designs remained the same old ones, the cabins cramped, the seats hard, the steering heavy, and the drivers suffered in the heat. On top of that, maintenance costs were so high that a large chunk of their monthly earnings went to the garage. No one considered that for a person who spends 10 to 12 hours in this vehicle, comfort is just as important as load capacity. The biggest misconception was that companies assumed that small business owners only needed power. But their real problem wasn't power. They needed more work done at a lower cost. They needed good mileage to save on diesel or petrol. They needed a reliable engine so the vehicle wouldn't break down midway. And most importantly, they needed their daily earnings to be straightforward and predictable. If the truck is idle today, today's income is zero. That's why small business owners are more concerned about these questions than new features or large screens. Will this vehicle run every day? Will the maintenance be affordable? Will it still be useful after 4 or 5 years? But for a long time, the industry avoided these questions. Meanwhile, the global auto industry embarked on a completely different race. In the US, Europe, and China, there was a clamor for large pickup trucks, lifestyle vehicles, and massive EVs. Trucks were no longer just tools for work. They were becoming status symbols. Bigger bodies, wider tires, more power, and longer range. Every launch was moving in this direction. Companies assumed that the future belonged only to large and expensive vehicles. But in this thinking, a crucial reality was being overlooked. The real number includes those who carry small loads every day, who have thin business margins, and for whom every liter of fuel matters. This is where Tata started thinking differently from everyone else. While the whole world was chasing big pickups and heavy EVs, Tata didn't listen to the noise. Instead, they looked at the data. Tata understood that the real volume wasn't in large trucks, but in the millions of small business owners who drive on the roads every day. Tata saw the ground reality: narrow streets, the necessity of overloading, bad roads, and limited income. The question wasn't, how do we build the biggest truck? But rather, how do we solve the problems of the most people? This thinking became Tata's greatest strength. Before talking about Tata's mini truck, it's important to know a little about Tata itself, because the deeper a company's roots, the stronger its vehicles tend to be. Tata is not a new or small company that suddenly gained attention by launching a cheap truck. Tata is one of the select companies in India that has shaped the country's industry from the very beginning. The Tata Group was founded nearly 150 years ago in 1868 by Jamsetji Tata. At that time, there were no cars, no trucks, no factories, just a vision to make India self-reliant. This vision gradually expanded to steel, power, hotels, IT, and then automobiles. Tata Motors was established in 1945, and since then it has become an integral part of India's roads. Today, Tata Motors is considered one of the major automobile companies not only in India, but also in the world. The company is present in almost every segment: passenger cars, trucks, buses, mini-trucks, EVs. Every year, Tata Motors sells millions of vehicles in India. To put it simply, more than 78 lakh Tata vehicles are sold in India every year, including both cars and commercial vehicles. The special thing is that Tata doesn't just make one type of vehicle. Whether someone wants their first car, an SUV for their family, a truck for their business, or an EV, Tata has something for every segment. This is why Tata is called everyone's company. Tata's greatest strength has been that it has never targeted only the rich or only urban areas. While many companies focus only on profitable segments, Tata has always thought on a large scale. Small towns, villages, and cities. Tata vehicles can be seen everywhere. The reason is clear. Tata designs its vehicles keeping Indian conditions in mind, whether it's bad roads, heavy loads, heat, or dust. Tata vehicles are known for their durability in all these conditions. This trust has been built over the years, and this trust remains Tata's greatest asset today. If you look at Tata's portfolio, it becomes clear why the company caters to every segment. On one hand, there was the small and affordable Tata Nano, and on the other hand, today there are robust SUVs like the Safari, Harrier, and Nexon. In the EV segment, Tata has become India's #1 company, and when it comes to commercial vehicles, Tata has been a leader in trucks and buses for decades. From mini trucks to large trailers, Tata has a presence in every size. This is why when Tata launches a new mini truck, people don't take it lightly. Every year, Tata doesn't just sell cars, it also creates jobs. Millions of people are connected to its plants, dealerships, and service network. Tata's service network is spread across almost every state in the country. This network is the biggest source of trust for small business owners. Because for them, buying a vehicle isn't enough. Keeping it running is crucial. If service is readily available, parts are accessible, and costs are under control, then the business thrives. Tata has understood this from the very beginning. Engine technology and reliability, Tata's true DNA. If Tata's true DNA is reflected in one thing, it's its engine and its reliability. People often ask when they see a new car, how much power does it have? What's the top speed? But Tata's thinking doesn't start there. For Tata, the real question is, will this engine run every day? Will it withstand heat, dust, overloading, bad roads, and long hours? Because driving in India isn't just driving, it's a daily struggle. And Tata knows this very well. That's why Tata engines are considered long-lasting, especially in the commercial and mini-truck segment, where a vehicle breaking down means direct losses. Now, let's understand how the engine works in simple terms. The basic function of a petrol or CNG engine is the same: to mix fuel and air in the right proportion and burn it inside the cylinder, and the power generated from this combustion moves the piston up and down. This up and down movement of the piston rotates the crankshaft through a connecting rod. When the crankshaft rotates, that rotation is transferred to the wheels through the gearbox, and the vehicle moves forward. In simple terms, a small, controlled explosion occurs inside the cylinder, and the engine gradually, continuously, and controllably transfers the power of that explosion to the wheels. In a petrol engine, the spark plug provides the spark, and the fuel burns. The same applies to CNG, except the fuel is gas, which burns cleanly and often reduces costs. Now the question is, why is Tata's engine considered durable? The first reason is its design and tuning. Tata's focus isn't on making the engine look the fastest on paper, but rather on making it the most reliable in the real world. In India, people often don't drive according to the rules. There's overloading, delayed servicing, bad roads, and hours spent crawling in traffic. This puts a lot of stress on the engine. Tata designs its engines keeping this real-life torture test in mind. The second reason is durable parts and robust build quality. Many aspects of Tata's engines are designed for practicality, such as the cooling system, which prevents the engine from overheating, strong mountings, so they don't loosen quickly due to vibrations, and tuning that provides good torque even at low RPMs. In a mini-truck, you don't need high speed. You need pulling power at low speeds. This is because these vehicles operate in stop-and-go city traffic and often carry heavy loads. Tata tunes its engines accordingly, so that the engine works smoothly without having to be constantly strained. When the engine is under less stress, its lifespan automatically increases. The third major factor is the simple approach to maintenance. For small business owners, the biggest problem is that if servicing is too expensive or complicated, it becomes difficult to operate the vehicle. Tata's commercial philosophy keeps things simple: a design that any mechanic can understand, easily available spare parts, and quick fixes for minor problems. This low-maintenance advantage becomes a significant benefit in the long run, and reliability doesn't just include the engine, but the entire system. Tata focuses on ensuring that the engine, gearbox, clutch, and suspension are all balanced for optimal performance. Because if the engine is strong but the other parts are weak, the vehicle will still provide a poor experience. This is why Tata vehicles often seem to be less show, more substance. Now let's understand the EV angle. EVs don't have an engine, they have a motor. There's no combustion, so there aren't many moving parts. The motor draws power from the battery, the controller manages it, and the motor directly drives the wheels. This means EVs can have less vibration, less maintenance, and lower running costs, especially on delivery routes. This is why Tata's focus on EVs also seems like a practical solution, not just a fashion statement. Petrol plus CNG plus EV. Tata's real masterstroke. If there's one decision in the entire Tata Ace Pro story that can be called a masterstroke, it's offering petrol, CNG, and EV options simultaneously. Most companies choose only one path here. Some say the future is only EVs, while others are still stuck on petrol or diesel. But instead of betting on a single engine, Tata trusted the customer. Tata understood that every customer's needs, earning methods, and circumstances are different, and they should have options accordingly. This thinking sets Tata apart from other companies. First, let's talk about petrol. The petrol variant is for those who still want simplicity and ease of use. In small towns and cities, petrol is readily available everywhere. Service is easy, and the initial cost is also manageable. For those who don't drive very much daily, or who use their vehicles for mixed purposes, a little in the city, a little on the highway, petrol becomes a practical option. Petrol engines are smooth to start, quieter, and easier to understand in terms of maintenance. This is why many first-time buyers still consider petrol a safe choice. Now let's move on to CNG, which is rapidly gaining popularity in a country like India. The CNG variant is especially designed for those who use their vehicles daily and whose expenses are directly linked to fuel efficiency. Milk suppliers, vegetable vendors, and local delivery drivers, for them, fuel costs are a major factor. CNG burns cleanly, reduces running costs, and is more economical in the long run. Where CNG stations are available, it becomes a compelling option for these mini-truck owners. Tata understood that while EV infrastructure will take time to develop in every city, CNG is a necessity today. Therefore, offering a CNG option in the Ace Pro is a practical and sensible decision. Now for the most interesting part, the EV. Tata has presented the EV not as a futuristic dream, but as a necessity for today. The EV mini-truck is perfect for those with fixed routes, like warehouse deliveries, city, distribution, and last-mile logistics. Here, there's no need to travel more than 100–150 kilometers daily, but the vehicle is used every day. EVs eliminate petrol or CNG costs, charging is cheaper, and maintenance is lower because there are no complex components like an engine. If you look at the EV mini-truck intelligently, it can become the silent weapon of future logistics. No noise, no smoke, no daily fuel costs. Big companies are making flashy EV trucks, but the real change will come from smaller EVs that work quietly within cities. E-commerce companies, grocery suppliers, food delivery. The EV mini-truck can be an ideal tool for all of them. Silent operation at night, pollution-free deliveries in the morning. These are the advantages that gradually change the game. Tata's greatest insight is that it hasn't imposed a decision on anyone. It hasn't said, only EVs will work now, or this is the only right option. It has given the customer the choice. Today, someone can buy a petrol vehicle, tomorrow they can switch to CNG, and in the coming years, they can choose an EV. This flexibility makes the Tata Ace Pro not just a truck, but a platform. In reality, Tata has understood that in a country like India, the transition happens gradually, and the company that facilitates this transition is the one that survives in the long run. By offering petrol, CNG, and EV options, Tata has made it clear that it's not just selling trucks, but opening up possibilities for every type of customer. And this masterstroke could change the direction of the mini-truck industry in the coming years. Maintenance, service network, and resale. When a small business owner or driver decides to buy a mini-truck, they don't just look at the shiny vehicle in the showroom. One question keeps running through their mind. How much trouble will this vehicle give me after I buy it? This is where Tata's biggest advantage comes into play. Tata's strength doesn't lie in its flashy features or large displays, but in its service network, easy maintenance, and strong resale value. These are the things that make mini-trucks like the Ace Pro not just a vehicle, but a safe investment. In a country like India, vehicles don't just run on city roads. They also travel on unpaved village roads, farm tracks, and narrow lanes. If a vehicle breaks down there and the service center is 100 kilometers away, the losses are inevitable. Tata understood this reality a long time ago. That's why Tata's service network is spread from villages to big cities. In many places, In addition to Tata's authorized service centers, local mechanics are also well-versed in repairing Tata vehicles. This means that if the Ace Pro encounters any minor or major problem anywhere, the owner doesn't have to worry too much about getting it repaired. When it comes to maintenance, Tata has always taken a practical approach. Vehicles like the Ace Pro are designed for people whose daily income depends on their vehicle. If servicing is expensive or complicated, it directly impacts their business. From design to parts, Tata has ensured that routine maintenance is affordable and easy. Whether it's changing the oil, cleaning the filter, or servicing the brakes, all these tasks don't take much time, and the costs remain under control. This is why Tata's commercial vehicles last for years. The availability of spare parts is also a major issue. Many companies' vehicle parts are either expensive or not readily available. This is not the case with Tata. Tata's spare parts are available in almost every major town and city. Whether it's petrol, CNG, or EV, the supply system for parts is robust for every variant. This not only ensures quick repairs, but also keeps the price of parts from increasing significantly. This is a huge relief for small business owners, as they know that if a part suddenly breaks down, they won't have to wait for months. Now, let's talk about resale value, which people often overlook when buying a vehicle. But in reality, it's very important. Tata vehicles generally have a strong resale value, especially models like the Ace. The reason is clear: market trust. When someone buys a used Tata vehicle, they feel confident that the engine and body will still be in good working condition. The same expectation is associated with the Ace Pro. If the owner wants to change the vehicle after a few years, they get a decent price for it. This means that the money invested in the vehicle is not completely lost. How is such a low price possible? When someone first hears that the starting price of a vehicle like the Tata Ace Pro is around $4,499, the first question that comes to mind is, how is such a low price possible? Because in today's times, when even small cars seem expensive, the fact that a complete mini truck is available at this price surprises people. But if this price is only considered cheap, then the whole story is not understood. In reality, this price isn't magic, but rather the result of Tata's years of planning, experience, and practical understanding. First of all, Tata is not a new company that appeared today and will disappear tomorrow. Tata knows where to invest money and where not to. While designing the Ace Pro, Tata focused on functionality, not appearances. No unnecessary electronics, no useless fancy features. Only the things that are essential for everyday work were included. This automatically brings down the production cost. When you design a vehicle as a tool for work, not a showpiece, the price stays under control. The second major reason is Tata's scale and experience. Tata has been manufacturing millions of vehicles for years. Trucks, buses, cars, EVs, everything. The advantage of this is that Tata gets parts at lower prices, has a strong supply chain, and lower manufacturing costs. If a smaller company were to build such a truck, the same thing would cost them more. But Tata manufactures on a large scale, so the cost is spread across each vehicle. This scale advantage plays a major role in bringing down the price of the Ace Pro. The third point is local manufacturing and design tailored to Indian conditions. Tata manufactures or sources most of its parts domestically. Reduced dependence on imports saves on taxes and logistics costs. Moreover, the design is such that assembly is easy, wastage is minimized, and production is faster. When a vehicle is manufactured in less time at the factory, its cost also decreases. Now, a very important point. Tata is not looking to make a huge profit immediately from the Tata Ace Pro. Tata knows that the real game in the mini truck segment is volume. Instead of making a large profit on each vehicle, Tata's strategy has been to benefit in the long term by selling more vehicles. When more people buy the vehicle, service, parts, and brand loyalty will automatically follow. This is why the initial price has been kept aggressive, so that even first-time buyers are not intimidated. Offering petrol, CNG, and EV options also makes this price possible. Tata hasn't forced everyone to buy an EV. The cost of an EV is different, and the infrastructure requirements are different. Those who want a cheaper entry point can opt for petrol or CNG. This gives Tata the opportunity to sell multiple variants on the same platform, and the development costs are spread out. Most importantly, Tata is not viewing this price as a short-term stunt. The Ace Pro is a long-term product. Tata knows that if a small business owner gets the right vehicle at the right price today, that same customer will buy a larger Tata truck or another vehicle tomorrow. This trust-building strategy is what lies behind this price. So, the $4,199 price is not a miracle. This is the result of Tata's thinking, scale, practical design, and long-term vision. Tata has proven that if you understand the ground realities and design a vehicle accordingly, it's entirely possible to deliver the right product at the right price. And that becomes the biggest strength of the Ace Pro. If you look closely at the EV Ace Pro, it's not a flashy vehicle. It doesn't make grand claims or have a futuristic appearance, but the real threat often comes from where there's less noise. Today, most of the attention in the EV world is focused on large, expensive, and high-range vehicles. Companies are painting a picture of the future by showcasing long range, fast acceleration, and large screens. In this process, the real mass EV market is slowly fading from view. For vehicles used daily, within cities whose sole purpose is to transport goods, a range of 400-500 kilometers or 0-100 km/h acceleration was never necessary. The EV Ace Pro stands firmly on this very reality. The Ace Pro EV is designed for people with fixed routes and daily work. Fleet operators, companies doing city deliveries from warehouses, grocery, and e-commerce suppliers. For all of them, the biggest questions are cost and reliability. The EV Ace Pro fits in perfectly here. No daily fuel costs for petrol or CNG, low maintenance, and convenient overnight charging. When a fleet has 50-100 vehicles, even a small saving per vehicle adds up to a significant amount. The EV Ace Pro occupies that sweet spot where savings directly translate into profit. This is why, while big EV brands may be in the spotlight, real adoption starts with smaller EVs. If you appreciate grounded, insightful auto stories that show real impact rather than just hype, subscribe to the channel now so you can understand every major automotive move first.